Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Ricky Chavez with Battle Ready. It's the process of reinventing yourself. Cool thing about people's lives, there's a lot of things that go on and a lot of challenges, but it's what we do every single time to help us out. Again, we have Casey on the show. Casey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Ricky?
Doing well. And when in our earlier spot, we were talking a little bit about your journey from India to North Carolina to Houston, and then playing for the national team. Talk us through all that.
Moved from North Carolina in 1989, not knowing I'll ever play cricket again. So moved to Houston again. Never been anywhere, but just stayed in North Carolina for 3 years. Uh, Came here, was staying with my uncle, and he worked for an engineering company. So he knew that I played decent cricket back home. So he was bragging with his friends who played like just cricket here amongst themselves. One day, one good Sunday, they just showed up at our doorstep and says, "Hey, we're one player short. We need you to come fill in." So I'm like, okay. I went there, just stood in the field. They just thought this is a young kid, doesn't know what to do. Uh, and I was just watching all them just goofing around, like playing, but not at that level that I played. And I haven't played in like 3.5 years, so I'm like, I was rusty too. And then all of a sudden they couldn't get some people out, and they're like, "Hey, do you bowl?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit." So they gave me the bowl, and next thing they see is that I'm running in. Still I'm rusty, but I was very disorganized pitching wise, locations wise, but still the balls that were in the right area, they went real quick. And I ended up getting 5 outs. And so they're like, "Oh, there's someone who can play some cricket." Then we were sitting out chasing the score, and all of a sudden they lost like 5 outs, and they're like, "Hey, do you bet?" I'm like, "A little bit." And I went out there and I scored quick 50 runs and finished the game. And as soon as I came back, that's rest is history. Then they're all of a sudden like, "Hey, we have a league here. We want you to play." I'm like, "If my uncle allows me, I'll come and play." So then started playing Sunday leagues, not knowing any structure of USA, that what happens or how it happens. So started just competing in the league. It took me a couple of years to get back in shape. Then I started taking, cricket a little serious because there were 6 teams back then, but all of them had really, really good players. So we started playing in that league and slowly started making name for myself. 96, 97 was consistently in top three pitcher bowler for the league. And in 98, I was the highest wicket taker in the league. And that year I had 35 outs. Uh, so USA back then was, every league are supposed to nominate 3 players to send for the selection. So there were like 250 best of the best players. They were sent to Philadelphia. It was in Haverford University. That's where, cricket was first played in the 1800s in that university, and it's still,
Really?
yes. So historical place where this selection happened, and obviously, 250 people, only 14 get selected, and only another 10 get shortlisted. If someone gets hurt, there is a backup. Went out there, did my thing. I grabbed attention all throughout the country because I got all the main players out in the top order. Um, then 98, I made the short list. In 2000, I was just working at my sandwich shop and I get a call that, "Hey, do you have your passport?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, we need you to pack your bags. You're going to play 5 countries. You're going to play America's Cup for United States." And that's how the journey began.
So, I'm gonna throw this in real quick because I know you for a while. You keep saying bowling and pitching. Pitching baseball, bowling is what you guys do with cricket,
In,
right?
yes.
But talk to me about your son. I'm gonna throw some in there with your son. Your son's a pitcher, isn't he?
Actually, he is a pitcher and a bowler. Uh,
Okay.
so he kind of complemented both games. because he played both since he was 4.5 years old, and he played for USA also under 19. He went to World Cup qualifiers and everything, and he also did good. But he also played for UT San Antonio as a D1 college, and then got drafted in seventh round for Chicago White Sox.
So you tell me something about that, the first South Asian drafted, is that right?
He's a first Indian-born American that has ever been drafted in any major sports in this country, and that was in 2019. So he made a record. So if you Google, there are all articles on him. His name is Karan Patel.
Perfect. Yeah, and we're gonna probably have him on one of our shows later on. Now behind you, man, you have a bunch of trophies and things. Talk about those, man. Where did you get all of that?
So I led. So there is obviously, like I said, I played for a club here. So the club that I played for, I also first became captain for the club for in 2000, and we've never won anything. And I'm very aggressive and disciplined player. So I compiled a team, and from 2000 to 2018, we went to finals 16 times in championship games out of 18 years. And so all the things you see in the backs are personal achievements from the tournaments all over the country. And then obviously some of the things you're not seeing on camera are all the big trophies there, everywhere in this room. They're all championship that I've led the team. And at one point 10 years ago, my wife said no more trophies in the house. So anything I'm winning for last 10 years, I'm just giving it to my vice captain. I'm like, take it home, I'm going to get in trouble.
There you go. So one of the other things you mentioned earlier, right, and we talked about this on the other show, is coming into the United States, how people from various countries they have no fear of becoming entrepreneurs. And you said that in your sandwich shop. So you were an entrepreneur owning a sandwich shop at the time?
So in the initial, when I came to Houston, I was working, right? I worked, remember stop and goes?
Yeah, sure.
So I was a cashier. But so, I knew I had to save some money. So my uncle used to own sandwich shops in office buildings, like cafeterias. So I had some experience in that, So obviously, like I said, I don't like to hear no. Everything, what's the worst thing? My motto is, what's the worst thing someone's gonna say? Say no. you know so I went building to building, looking for something, because I didn't have a lot of cash, that which building, the high rise, doesn't have a sandwich shop. So I saw a building right there on Bissonnette and 59, but it was a small building, 6 story. And they were I went and talked to the management. Took me 6 months to convince the management that I can do it, because they had no space. They had only like 600 square feet, and they said, you cannot do anything. And again, I said, I'm not going to take this no. And I made a small cafeteria in there. And when I did it, I designed it, they helped me build it, everything. They had a wow factor that we didn't realize you can do this much in 600 square feet. And that's how it started. It was in 94.
Wow. So I think that's one of the things that's always impressed me about you, that can-do attitude, right? And I
Yeah.
like the thing that you said, you never accept no. It's just, and I was taught in the military as a recruiter, no is just a request for more information. So obviously you had
Exactly.
to motivate them and sell them what you were trying to sell them, right?
Exactly. So I always ask, if someone says no, I said, fair enough, but may I know why you said no? So if there is a little opportunity again for the conversation to open up, to convince them and convert that no into yes. I mean, and like I said, one thing, I don't like to exaggerate, and I don't like to butter up and not lie, right? So honesty is the key. So that's what they end up liking about me, is just the honesty, right? That, okay, at least the guy is honest to him.
So then you that your first store or first business?
Yeah, so my first business I owned was that success. So then from one, obviously, because I knew a little bit of it, I had my own ideas, and again, I'm very good with people, customer service. So then what happened is from that, uh, some other lady from another building, she came there for something, and she ended up coming there, and she ate my food, and then she's like, "Hey, I have a location, another location. Would you like to come in there?" So then I said, "Let me go check." But it was an existing one, but the person operating, they were not doing a great job, and their lease was up. So I got second, then that management gave me third, then they gave me fourth at one time. Then it ended up I had six locations.
Wow. And that's from a young kid that comes from India to go live with his uncle,
Yeah.
right? In North Carolina. And then in Houston, all of a sudden you have six little cafeteria stores.
Yes, that's right. So 10 years, like 94 to 2004, I had six locations, and after that is when my hotel industry business started. I mean, back again, it started in 2004.
Well, we're going to keep talking about that when we come back from the next commercial. Casey, as always, man, you always motivate me. I appreciate you. We'll see you back in a few.